You're now listening to the Cerberus Gridiron Podcast. And now your hosts, Christian and Kris, powered by Cerberus Fantasy Sports.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Cerberus Gridiron Podcast. This is episode 10, everybody. Big milestone 10. Big 10, man. And y'all can see who we got back here right now. Yes, it is the co-host, Mr. K Camp, is back this week. Yeah, he had a little vacation and everything that he had to get away with, which it's still the summertime, so it's best to get that vacation out before football season starts, because when football season starts, it's a different beast. Don't nobody want to miss anything
at all. Yes.
So how was the vacation, man?
Thank you. Man, it was good. You know, I got 2 young boys, ages 2 and 4. Me and the wife went to Portland.
Okay.
Portland is beautiful, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And it felt great. I think that the highs were like 85, low like 65, 70. So it felt perfect. The only hot day, I think, was Sunday. They got it over 100. People were freaking out there. Obviously, me living in Texas, we were used to it. Like, it's nothing. But it wasn't humid. Like I think the Sunday we went on some wine tours. We were sitting outside eating. I wasn't sweating or nothing. And it was 100 degrees. So yeah, but Portland is beautiful. I didn't realize the first time being there. I didn't realize how awesome and beautiful it was. You got to see the mountains. We went to the coast. So we had a real good time. The boys had a great time. But yeah, it's good to be back, though. Good to be back sleeping in my own bed. Not good to be back in this heat, but yeah, it's good to be back.
Okay. Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to episode 10 on the Cerberus Gridiron Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Christian _CFS, and we got Mr. K Camp right there. He is back in action, and let's go on and get to it. This week has been quite interesting, so we're going to start the segments off about what's happening. So some of the things what's happening this week is, I know everybody saw that Dalvin Cook trade, or not trade, but that Dalvin Cook signing to the New York Jets. What are y'all
Jets?
Jets. Now, I'm not a Jets fan, as y'all already know before. Panther fan right behind me. But what are your thoughts about Dalvin going to the Jets? Do you think that's going to affect Breece Hall a little bit, or no?
Yes, it's going to affect Breece Hall, especially immediately. But that allows him not to rush back from that ACL injury.
Exactly.
Right? So I think that'll give him time. I think expect Breece to get up and running around week 6, somewhere around there. We also know how Dalvin injury history is. He's going to miss anywhere from 2 to 4 games. So, but I think at the end of the year, you'll see Breece ramp up. They only signed Dalvin Cook for 1 year, so they're not really that much invested in him.
Mm-hmm.
So, just in other words, just be patient for Breece. But I think around week 6, he'll get up and going.
Yeah, I actually agree with that with you. I really think they're going to run him back slow because we know Dalvin, he can do the workload. But once they get up and running, I think this tandem is going to be very interesting, where it's sort of like they're really both like close to like the exact same type of player. Like they both can do the finesse with the catching. They both have the catching ability. They both can run in between the tackles, outside the tackles. And we know that the Jets run that similar style offense to like Kyle Shanahan up in the 49ers offense, which is that West Coast, that zone scheme. So, and I think Dalvin is going to eat really well in that system. I totally believe that I would probably be trying to get both of them, to be honest with you. Dalvin and then Breece, if you can. But we don't know what's going to happen. But then the next person that like we can talk about is, what are your thoughts about Zeke going to the Patriots?
I mean, it's cool. It's cool for Zeke. Is it actually cool for the Patriots? You know, Bill Belichick, he's cheap, right? So he didn't want to pay Dalvin Cook $8.6 million or whatever he signed for with the Jets. So he took value. He wanted to go quote unquote value and got Zeke. I think Ramandre is still the best player on that offense. And I just think that if Ramandre misses a couple games, Zeke can fill in. Zeke can spell him at times. So it's not a big deal. We know Zeke is not old Zeke anymore, right? So he's going to be around the goal line and stuff like that. I don't really think it affects Ramondre too much because they lost Damon Harris, right? So they needed somebody else anyway.
Yep.
So they won't wear down Ramondre down. So if you're an owner of Ramandre Stevenson, do not panic, do not get crazy. I think that Zeke will just go in and spell him in time, and if you miss some game, Zeke can give you 2 good games, out the season.
Yeah. I totally agree with that also as well. Like I'm big on Ramondre, like big fan of like how he is as a running back. I really don't see much happening. Like we already knew Ramondre wasn't going to be the full 100% back because we know how the Patriot system is anyways.
Right.
The most he was going to end up being is probably about like a 70-30, which that's what I can see Zeke doing is that 30% of the workload similar to that Damon Harrison, just like what you said. And just pretty much everything you said, like we know Zeke is not who he is. He might go one game for maybe 22 yards. Oh, I mean 22 carries.
Okay.
Yeah, my blooper moment. That was a blooper moment.
I'm saying 2 games. He'll give you 2 games, 2-3 games after the season.
I can see him possibly in those 2 games. He might be able to get you about like 15, 20 points up in fantasy value.
Mm-hmm.
But when's that going to happen? I do not know, and you don't want to risk it. Now, if you get him up in best ball, yeah, but that's towards the end of the late rounds. I draft
around 18, 16, somewhere where you're reaching for players. At that point.
Yeah, so get a little upside there give him a little break and everything. But let's talk about this. What ended up happening not too long ago. Some injuries came up. So what are your thoughts about? Let's just start with the big one. Mr. Amon-Ra St. Brown with that lower ankle injury. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
That was today. I don't know much about it. It just happened today. I'm looking at CBS and it's saying questionable for week 1. That's not. I need to know more information, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't want to say. I'm gonna say this: don't panic. Don't panic if you're Amon-Ra St. Brown. If you have him on your team, do not panic.
I got him.
For Gibbs, though. You got him, right? Don't panic. Don't panic just yet, Christian. Let's see all the details. Let's see everything that comes out. Let's see this X-rays. If you got Jahmyr Gibbs, though, hey, his stock is even higher.
Also, another one, Sam Laporta too. Sam Laporta. Yep.
Yes, Sam Laporta. And I'm gonna say David Montgomery. I was talking to your favorite author who's came on here a couple of times, and he's just not. He's not high on David Montgomery. I'm not high, but I'm not low on him. I say I'm mid high.
Yeah.
In sense. And I think that means that David Montgomery should get most of the carries because they should move Gibbs to where Amon-Ra was in the slot, right?
Yeah.
Amon-Ra's in the slot mostly.
I don't think so. Me personally, like even though it was like a lower ankle injury, it depends on how severity it is. Like we don't know what's the severity of it, and we know this is not college or high school anymore. Like this is the actual pros where he can get that round and round 3 to 4 time treatments a day, which can end up healing that ankle up, depending on the severity and then the grade. Can heal that up a lot faster, and they have different type of technologies now. That's the one thing about the world and everything that's going on right now is the technologies that they have. And he might end up being ready for week 1, which I don't see why he wouldn't be ready for week 1 because we already know what's going to happen. He's not playing this week at all whatsoever up in this next preseason game. No. He's not going to play up in the He's done. So he's just going to heal that up. And technically, he really doesn't need to do anything really right now. Is just understand what they're going to do versus Kansas City week 1. That's the only thing.
Right. And to piggyback off that, I think that if you're going to tweak something or hurt something, this is the time to do it. Right. He has 3 weeks. So he has ample time. With the lower ankle sprain, he has ample time to, like you said, round the clock treatment. And he had before the season starts on September 10th.
Yep.
Or September 7th. So yeah, if you're gonna tweak something, now is the time to do it.
And let's not go too far from Detroit. Let's stay up in that. Like, what do you think about J-Mo and with his hamstring?
Again, I don't want to say, I just want to say luck of the draw. Good for him. He's out the first 6 weeks. Those hamstring injuries, they can linger. Players tend to rush back for those. Now he could be off like essentially 9 weeks, right? Because 3 weeks before the season and then 6 weeks for suspension. 9 weeks, that should give him plenty of time for that hamstring to be healed 100%. And he's full systems go. I'll give him 2 games to get the rust off. After week 8, he full systems go.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, especially with him actually being hurt right now, we know technically this is the only time that he can play just to get some type of action in.
Right.
It kind of it sucks with him actually being hurt right now because he's not going to get those reps that he needs just to gel with like the new like Sam Laporte or with Jahmyr Gibbs, whatever new type of offense that I forgot what his first name is, but I know his last name is the OC Johnson has.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was Brian, but I don't know. But it's whatever new offense of scheme he's trying to implement in this year, we won't be able to see that because he is hurt now. But he does get that.
Ben Johnson.
Okay. You said what?
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, everybody. Ben Johnson. But that is, and for the people out there that was saying Ben Johnson, thank y'all for actually helping us with that Ben Johnson. We can't see you, but we feel you out there. We feel you. We know we love the support and everything like that. All right. And then the next one that I would like to talk about is, what is your thoughts about Treylon Burks with his LCL injury?
Again, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. Hey, but I don't know. I need more information about Treylon Burks. I think that the person who has him in our top dog league, he said the LCL. He said like week 7. I don't know. He's not a doctor either. So let's just say it's 6 weeks. Ugh. I hate that for him because I heard he was having a great camp. He was balling out. He had slimmed down. I hate that's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate, if you're an owner of Treylon Burks, don't panic. I guess if you can get off, I don't know if you should get off him or not.
No, I wouldn't get off of him.
You don't think so? Because I'm thinking about a quarterback next year. I'm just thinking about him missing the first, let's say, 6 weeks of the season.
Oh wow!
You just gotta be patient. You gotta ride it out until you know more information.
So the one thing I will say, just so y'all know, I am not a doctor. I just looked up LCL tear, but we know he did not tear. So they said if this was a tear, then the tear would it usually heals after 3 to 12 weeks. So that's the best thing right there. That's like the worst. So we know that he didn't tear it, but let's physically see.
6 weeks.
Let's say, what was it, a sprain? LCL sprain.
That's what I thought.
So from what I'm seeing right here, it's not it's like a knee swelling, locking, or catching of your knee with movement. I'm trying to see the timetable.
I actually kind of Googled it. So this says between 3 to 12 weeks. But then it also says recovery time for MCL, LCL sprain usually between 4 to 6 weeks.
So the one thing I will see that I just found out, and this is just for a sprain. If it was just a sprain, that's some good news though. From what I'm seeing, it is on 2portho.com, and it is saying, hey, that's the first thing it came up with. So I'm looking at it. It said it usually occurs in 3 weeks to 3 months. The recovery, expected recovery. So if this is correct, and expected recovery usually occurs 3 weeks to 3 months, depending on the severity of the injury. Although lingering minor stiffness and soreness for 6 months is not uncommon. So we already know what's going to happen. 3 weeks?
3 to 12 weeks. I'm going to say 6.
So 3 weeks to 3 months to like 12 weeks. That's pretty much just like what we just said about the tear.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's him around week 3, after week 3. So week 4, we're gonna see around week 4. So that's good news. If it's a sprain, we'll try to meet in the middle. We'll say 6 weeks,
Yeah.
and because he's gonna get, like I said, he get around the clock treatment, and he got the best doctors, right? So
The NFL has the
6
best doctors ever.
That's what they say.
Yeah. They paid him to play.
Who else we got injured like today?
Shoot. I can't think of anybody else right now.
Jordan Addison had a concussion.
Yeah, concussion.
He's in concussion protocol.
But
which I don't know how he got a concussion if it wasn't on when he played the game last week. Shouldn't he have that thick whatever helmet on? Get concussion, bro.
yeah. Well, nowadays, all the teams are wearing like that thick padding over their actual helmet now, so they can prevent them. I think that actually might be NFL regulated, where all the teams actually have to have those now while they're practicing.
So how you get a concussion? That's what I'm saying. So how you get a concussion?
Hey man, I don't know. It's just like asking how the dude got a daggone speeding ticket whenever he was going.
Well, I mean, he was feeling
himself.
Lambo. He was feeling himself.
Yeah,
So
so
I get it. Hey, I don't even fault him for that.
Yeah, so.
But the concussion, what are you doing?
Hey man, crazy things happen right now up in the NFL. But yeah, everybody that is listening to this up on the podcast, thank you for listening to it. We are just getting started. Don't forget to like, comment, and then subscribe. And if you're on that Apple podcast, and then we need those 5-star ratings, so it helps with like the algorithm, so we can get up there, so we can get more people with this detailed information that we're actually entertaining y'all, because that's our goal, is to entertain you. So, what do you think?
And you can. I'm sorry,
no, go ahead. Do what you gotta do.
You can comment, and give us any type of criticism, but just please give us 5 stars when you do.
Yes. So, in this next segment, we're going to talk about some guys based off this week's performance who you need to buy.
Week 1.
Yep.
Week 1 preseason.
Week 1 preseason guys who we think you need to buy. So we're going to start off with one of the guys that you had up on your list. It is Mr. DJ Moore.
Hey.
DJ Moore.
If you listen to the wide receivers episode we did, you all know that I'm a huge fan of DJ Moore this year. I think he would do career highs. And so just off, I think he's a buy, right?
Yep.
And the reason I think he's a buy, just off when we saw the first play, I think it was the first play of the game, screen pass to DJ Moore, he takes the 60 yards to the house. That's what we want to see. That's what we need to see. Get the ball in DJ Moore's hand and let him do what he do.
Yep.
I loved it. So I think he's a buy. His stock just rose up even more.
Okay. So I'm going to throw a little curve out there. I totally agree with DJ Moore being a buy. The one thing about him being a buy right now, though, do you think his price is going to be too high, though?
Yeah.
Because he did do something. Crazy. He did do something explosive, even though, yes, everybody, we understand it was just a screen. But it is the potential of what can end up happening. And we know everybody is probably knocking Justin Fields right now because he threw for like -5 air yards. All right, everything was scripted right now. Like, they're not doing anything big right now, but it's just y'all are able to see the potential of what this offense is going to look like in Chicago. The potential.
And what they're doing, even with Justin Fields, they're just building confidence in him, right? Give him some layups, give him some screen. Everyone was like, oh, I have him as a whole. We'll talk about that on the next segment, but I have him as a whole. But let him build his confidence. Give him some easy passes. Yes, they were not passing line of scrimmage. I get it. Hopefully, week 2, if he's playing, we will see some passes that pass a line of scrimmage. But yeah, give him some layups. Let him build his confidence. That's what you want to see
Yep.
from a young quarterback.
And then get that rapport with his receivers and his running backs. Also very good as well.
If he had thrown 2 interceptions, everybody would have been like, why didn't you just throw some screen passes just to build his confidence?
Exactly.
Now that he did it, why ain't going to pass the line of scrimmage? Like, come on, people. Come on.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, everybody out there.
You can't. Much as you want to, you cannot.
So this is where I'm going to throw a little twist up in the scenario right now. I know this just happened, and a lot of people are probably panicking right now. But me, what I do, and when I do my analysis in this game of fantasy, a lot of people right now are trying to get off of JT, Mr. Jonathan Taylor, for the Indianapolis Colts. And I know everybody, it's okay to panic. But this is for the people that are actually close to winning a championship, and they just need that one guy, but then also realizing that you just need that one guy just to fill some shoes, and it's sort of like a dart throw. I'm not a psychic. I do not know if he's going to come back and actually play this season. But what I will say is his value is probably going to be the lowest of like what it's going to be with him holding out, doing whatever he needs to do just to get that contract right now. And if that is the case, then it is probably the best opportunity. If you believe in JT going to play this year, it's probably the best time to go out there and try to get him.
Yeah,
this is the lowest that it's going to be. Like if you're trying to do something this year, maybe you might need like an RB3, a guy that you can put in up on the bye weeks, that you have two good, strong, two-headed monsters. JT might be your guy just to go out there just to buy. If we're talking about a dynasty league, I'm definitely buying all day. I'm going to throw out, a lot of people might, first thing I'm going to throw out is probably like an early second round pick to see if I can get it, just if the owner is just really trying to get off of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do personally. But if you really are feeling froggy and you actually believe that this guy's actually going to play this year and you got a late first that you know, nothing wrong with throwing out a late first. Personally, would I? It depends on, you got to know the room. You got to read the room. You got to know your team. You got to know your league mates, and you have to know what his value is. And then you do what is best for your team, because it doesn't make a difference what daggone I say, what Mr. K Camp says. It's all about how you feel about your team and how you want to make your team better. And I do think JT can do that. Yep.
Question: what do you think? You Mr. Leo, you have a crystal ball. What do you think? They have 3 weeks. What do you think is going to happen?
So I do not think, personally, I don't think a deal is going to get done. But because of what we said, Jim Irsay said and everything like that, kept talking about he ain't gonna pay him. I personally don't think a deal is gonna get done. But what I will say is that if I am JT and other Colts fan, I'm hoping a deal gets done.
Of course.
But I really think if a deal does get done, y'all are really about to see Anthony Richardson come alive in that offense. Because there's nothing better than having a top tier running back at your disposal as a rookie. And this rookie is also a dual threat as well. So
yeah,
everybody put 8 up in the box, put 9 up in the box, because you got to worry about JT and then you got to worry about AR. Do what you got to do. But who going to get the ball though? You better watch, keep your head up on the swivel. And
so you think a deal won't get done, but he will eventually report to camp and play this season?
Yes, I do.
The Colts, is what you're saying.
Yep, I do think he's going to play this season, because personally, like the writing's on the wall. Like we've already seen what happened to a running back that actually held out. What ended up happening? Le'Veon Bell even told the guys, like, personally, I wish I didn't hold out, because it didn't help me out at all. And really,
in his prime. Oof.
And JT is in his prime. But we can go to the next one though, because we can spend all day and all night up on JT, because it's just a debacle in that organization right now. Then
fucking Ursa.
The next one that you have is
Can't stand him.
Mr. JSN. So let's
JSN. I have him as a buy after seeing week 1. He went 3 catches for 25 yards. But I don't know if you saw the 3 catches. I think one was a slant. Might have been 2 as a slant. But anyway, he had 4 targets and 3 he caught. The target that he missed, it was a terrible throw from the quarterback. But he did a hell of a move in the slot on that. I guess it might have been a nickelback or the cornerback. He did a hell of a move on him. It was a terrible pass and he stepped down right there in the open spot in the zone. Oh, I love what I saw. 3 catches. The first catch, I think he was like a little. It was like a wide receiver crossing behind line of scrimmage. He only got 2 yards.
Okay.
But the other 2, was a slant. I think it might have been 2 slants. But the one he missed he did a hell of a move on the defender and got open. It was the bad throw by the quarterback. So buy on JSN, just like we said, he's number one wide receiver in this draft, and he just showed us with just 3 catches why he's still number 1 and he should be a buy.
Okay. That is good. And then the next person that you also have on the list is you have Mr. Devon A-Chain. Tell us about Mr. Devon A-Chain. Like, what are your thoughts?
Devon A-Chain, he had 14 targets, right? 14 targets, 10 rushing, 4 catching. I was more encouraged by the catching. Right? He had 4 targets. He had 4 catches, 41 yards. Yep. His rushing like 10 for I think 25 yards. Wasn't that much, but the fact that they throw him the ball, if somebody who runs a 4-3-2, give him the ball in space, screen passes, I don't care. Give him the ball in space, let him work his magic. And I was encouraged because he's been hearing great things out of the Dolphins training camp for him. So he's also a buy for him. The fact that I saw he had 4 catches.
And the one thing I will say is I am a big Florida State fan when it comes to college football. But also we know who his head coach is, which is Jimbo Fisher. And Jimbo actually pushes out top tier running backs all the way back from Dalvin Cook, Cam Akers, and now this year he has Devon A-Chain. And let's not even
just to correct you. You said Florida State. He used to coach at Florida State, but now he's at A&M. That's where A-Chain was, A&M.
Oh yeah.
But go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you for the correction, but I wasn't finished. But that's what happens. But that's what happens whenever you cut somebody off.
You cut somebody off.
What happens when you cut somebody off? Because what I was going to say is that I know he's at. Because as you heard me, I mentioned Dalvin first because where did Dalvin go? He went to Florida State. Where did Cam Akers go? He went to Florida State. And then I was going to go to with Jimbo going to Texas A&M. I know how Jimbo is with his running back.
Okay.
And we got Devon A-Chain, which he is that Swiss Army knife. The guys are actually saying that he is doing things that they didn't think he was going to be able to do. Actually, like running in between the tackles and being that full down workhorse back, which that might be the reason why might be the reason why Dalvin didn't want to come home.
Might be, and which is crazy because the last year at A&M, that's what they ran the shit out of him, and they ran him in between the tackles. So he worked like 1,100 yards and I don't remember how many touchdowns, but he was very productive. So I mean, you saw that he could. I know his college was still. You saw that he has that in his repertoire. So I'm encouraged from him and very highly encouraged.
Okay, the next one that we have out there on the list, it is Mr. Kenny Pickett. Mr. Kenny Pickett.
And I'm not even a huge Kenny Pickett fan, but the fact that he's with the Steelers organization, you know what Steelers are, we are both fans of Mike Tomlin, and what they did was to try to make him better with the offensive line. They improved the offensive line. But he just looked good. He looked decisive on his throws.
Okay.
He threw a touchdown to Pickens, which full disclaimer, I traded in one of our leagues. I traded DJ Moore for DJ Moore and I had Pickens. I'm looking like, ooh, I'm glad DJ had this 2-yard touchdown because him and Pickens look good together. I'm not gonna lie. Just Yeah, the one seed, but I think Pickett went like 7 for 8 in a tub. So he looked good. I'm not gonna lie, he looked real good. Kenny Pickett. I don't really like quarterbacks who throw with a glove on their hand. That's just, I don't know. Teddy Bridgewater 2 gloves. Teddy 2 gloves.
52 gloves.
Kenny 2 gloves. Right, Kenny 2 gloves. I don't really like that, But hey, he looked good and decisive. Long story short, so he is a buy for me. He's like he's gonna progress. He got the ball out quick. So you're supposed to see if he can be a quarterback in year 2.
Okay. And then the next person that I see that you have Mr. Derek Carr. You have Mr. Derek.
Derek.
Yeah, let's know
Carr.
a little something about Mr. Derek Carr.
First game with the Saints, he came out. I think he was 7 for 8 in a tub. He looked decisive. He looked methodical. Took them down the field. Also, well, I'll let you talk about that because you have a buy on somebody from the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
But he looked good and decisive as well. So I was impressed seeing that from Derek Carr. I was.
Okay. So the next person that we have for a buy is I have Mr. Juwan Johnson. And a lot of people are, I understand, they re-signed Jimmy Graham. Whoop-dee-doo. He's not going to affect at all anything dealing with Juwan Johnson. What Jimmy Graham is probably doing is getting his walk-off tour so he can end up just being there saying he played his final season with the Saints and he's probably going to retire at the end of this year. That's probably what he's going to end up doing. But the one thing that I wanted to let people know, when you're actually watching these preseason games, look at the first team and then see who is actually out there on the field with the first team. And when you're watching that, also try to count the actual reps that's actually going on that are all first teamers out there, because that's going to show a lot to you out there on who you want to end up getting in or stashing in your up in some of your leagues. But the one player that I will also say that that I don't think you probably will know something about him. And I'm not saying buy this guy right now, but what I will say is if you can kick something for this guy up for my dynasty guys out there, and this is a big time sleeper, I'm gonna say Mr. Emmanuel Wilson. Mr. Emmanuel Wilson. So what for the people that are listening to this podcast, we're actually about to do like a small little video of Mr. Wilson. And we're gonna actually show you a little something of Mr. Wilson. So we're actually gonna break this down. I'm going to end up just bear with me. I'm gonna actually
oh, there we go. Okay, I'll find the Saints.
So I'm actually, let me know so you can see the screen right now, I'm guessing, but we also got to change it. Oh.
So why doing that? So why doing that? Juwan Johnson had 6 catches. I mean, he had 2 catches for 29 yards. That's got both of his targets.
So right now,
let's see.
We're just looking at Mr. Emmanuel Wilson. The one thing I will say, what I'm about to do is I'm about to actually get rid of the sound. Right now, he's going in towards the end zone. He's taking the handoff from the QB, and he actually did like a small little hezzy right there. If you actually go back and look at it, he did a small little hezzy. He's getting the ball from, I don't know who the quarterback is, but he's letting the play open up for him. And this is also one of the guys, the reason why I'm saying just to keep an eye on him is because of what he did. And he's a sleeper, but what I think is going to end up happening is, and this is the play right here where he just, I think this is this the 80-yard?
Yeah,
no, this ain't that one. But he's actually following his blocks up on this next play. But what we're watching now is Mr. Emmanuel Wilson's highlight from week 1. And he's very patient whenever he gets the ball. Sort of like a little bit about how Le'Veon Bell was. But what he's doing is he's reading his blocks. He's doing what he's supposed to do when he's getting his opportunity. Because we think that the Green Bay Packers wanted to physically like just hold him and stash him. But based off of this performance, he probably will not be held for long. So he's going to have to make the roster. And I think this week coming up, they are probably me personally. I might try him out at like kickoff return just to see what he can do. And then we're actually going to take it back just a little bit because I don't know if you've seen some of these moves that he did. He's very patient. And that's what I like about him. And I really think he's going to end up being well if he is able just to make the roster. I think he should be able to make the roster because we already know how Mr. A.J. Dillon is and then Mr. Aaron Jones is. Somebody's going to get hurt.
And if you know, if y'all, he's talking about Emmanuel Wilson from the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
He's a rookie out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hometown, babe. He's actually
I don't even know where he went to college.
He actually went to Fort Valley State. Fort Valley State. He's actually from the West Charlotte High School.
Oh, it's a hell of a move right there.
Yes.
Behind a line of scrimmage. Looking like Terrell Davis out there.
And I really think if he gets an opportunity, what I think Green Bay is going to end up doing this week is they might throw him out there with the second teamers just to see what he can do. Because right now he's just going up against the third teamers, and then he's just taking it to the house right now, y'all. This is the run that he did. He did a small little hezzy. I don't know if people are like able to see it, but we're going to try to break it down the best of our ability. It's on the 20-yard line. He's in shotgun. He gets the handoff, and he looks like he's about to go up the middle, but then he did a hezzy outside and cut, and now he's gone off to the races, everybody. Off to the races. And yes, we know everybody this is probably against third teamers and things like that. We understand that. But what we're also talking about is his ability to be able to still do this in the system. So that was
6 carries for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yes. So if people want to see how it looked if people want to see that 20 or that 80-yard run, we're also about to show that one right now as well. And this is from the head up view.
Ooh,
like he just got up and he shook the mess out of, I don't even know who that was.
He froze number 39. Froze his ass.
Just off to the races. I'm just going to rewind that back one more time. Let's just rewind that back. Look how he sets him up. Like he's looking and checking the read, seeing who's coming. He's already doing his pre-snaps. And we're about to just let it run. And just everybody, I know the people up on the podcast that aren't able to do this. It was just a nice, gorgeous run out there. Just beautiful.
Phenomenal.
Very phenomenal. And like what he just did. But that was one of our holds. I mean, not holds, but buys in Emmanuel Wilson. It really, if you believe in what he can do, I think he might be able to do a little something. But we'll see what ends up happening. If you can get him, always keep your eye out. Like I wouldn't give up something crazy for him, but just keep your eye out on him. And let's just keep it like that.
Before we go to was it buy sell hold? Before we go to sell, I do want to give one more honorable mention from. I guess he's a buy, but it's an honorable mention. DTR, the quarterback from UCLA that plays for the Cleveland Browns, he's been balling out. He balled at the Hall of Fame game, and he balled just last week. Balling out. So, and I heard Deshaun Watson been struggling at the Cleveland Browns camp, which is shocking. With $230 million. DTR been balling.
And if that is the case, then if we already know he's gonna be he's gonna be the starter, but if he was to go down, they got a reliable backup out there that can run the same similar offense.
He looks seasoned, 4 years of college. He looked comfortable.
So let's go to some of the players out there that like we need to sell up in this next segment. I'm talking about selling. So
I really only have one person. I'm sorry. Are you ready?
No,
I really only had one person one person to sell, and we all know who it is. It's your boy, the 3rd overall pick 2-3 years ago, Trey Lance. He just looked. I hate to say it. I feel bad for the kid because he hadn't really had a chance. Because I was like Josh Rosen. He had a chance, but he's already on 3rd on the depth chart. He's not gonna sign. They're going to try to trade him. I think they're going to put him out there with the next 2 games. Hopefully, he can make some throw, get some passes on. That he can maybe they get like a trade market for him because he will not be a 49er after this year. He will be on the practice squad. They got where they want. They got Brock Purdy's 1, Sam Darnold's 2. I hear he's been struggling in training camp. I think Albert Breer, he was at one of the practice. Was Albert Breer? Might be Monkey Brooks. Somebody, but it was like he fumbled a snap and he just looked indecisive, holding the ball too long. He missed Musgrave and that was Jordan Love. But he was sacked 4 times in his last game. So if you're gonna sell anybody, I'm selling Trey Lance. Sorry, Trey. I'm sorry, buddy. Gotta let you go.
So another person that I am selling right now, and it's only because of what just recently happened, is I'm selling Mr. Treylon Burks right now.
I thought what? You shouldn't Trey Lance. I thought we said 6 weeks.
Yeah, that is 6 weeks. But the thing about it is, what we saw up in that, they said it's still going to be stiff as well too. Sometimes, in some cases, but that's only because of his injury that just happened. Because if it does take 6 weeks, and then if you are, unless you got somebody up in the wing that you are good, and then he's not your number 1 or number 2. But me personally, and that's just my opinion, I would sell Treylon Burks, but he's also kind of like, I don't know if everybody's starting to see this trend with me, but if you do got a contender out there, you also might want to get him too, because personally,
right.
what we can end up doing is just stashing him until it's close to that playoff time. Just let him heal up and just to put him up into your lineup. So it's really hard trying to find like somebody to sell. But if you are a person that's out there that is trying to get rid of him, you can sell him. Sort of similar to like what I said previously up in the buy section. I also had JT in there. Some people right now might be trying to sell JT because what's going on up in Indianapolis. So it's really weird out there trying to find these sales. But some of the so up in this next segment, we're gonna talk about the hold it. We're gonna talk about the who we holding right now. And we ain't talking about holding no daggone nice cold one right now. We're talking about who we holding up in fantasy. So I see that you have a hold, and I totally agree with this. You have a hold on Mr. Justin Fields.
I have a hold on Justin Fields, like I said earlier in the buy segment.
You didn't disclose that much, so you was gonna give us all right now.
I don't want to get too high. I don't want to get too low on Justin. I know he threw the ball 3 times behind the scrimmage. So I want to hold and see what he does in week 2 and week 3 of the preseason. Hopefully, we get some more passes down the field. But I agree with the coaching staff. Just get him the ball, let him make some completions, get him comfortable, and then we can see him open the playbook a little bit more, throw the ball down the field. Because he has an arm, so he can throw the ball down the field. We're not worried about that. But when I first saw, I'm like 3 for 3, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. He must do a bomb. Yeah, not exactly. But yeah, we don't want to panic. We want to hold Justin Fields because we want to see more from him.
Okay. So there's going to be a guy that I'm going to put out there. I'm going to put a rookie QB out there on a guy who y'all don't need to panic or anything like that. It was his first game this season. But I'm going to say we need to hold it up on Mr. Bryce Young. And we saw what the Jets did to the Panthers, skunked them. And we understand that, yes, this is his first read. And, like, yes, the Panthers didn't put up any points. But
Did
from
not.
what they are saying down here in the Carolinas, they are talking about how the offense that they ran, it was vanilla, very vanilla up in the first preseason game. The coach Reich did not want to show anything in the offense, did
Okay.
not want to show anything whatsoever, but that's okay. That's okay, everybody. Do not panic on Mr. Bryce Young. The one thing that I can say is the offensive line was a little shaky, but that is because they are missing their right guard, Mr. Austin Corbett. And what they are doing right now is they are putting in their rookie, Mr. Chandler Savala, from NC State, and he's trying to take over that job. But it was a little shaky. The offensive line was a little shaky. But the one thing that people didn't realize is his progressions and how he was reading the field, which was very phenomenal with what he was doing. And if my numbers are
Okay.
correct, Bryce Young's time in the pocket was 2.11 seconds, which is really fast. Before he had
That's to release, or is that to?
to release, like, so he had to release it
Oh,
in
that's real good.
2.11 seconds.
That's real good.
But
That's quick release what you want.
but that was because that was the bad offensive line play. But then a lot of people was talking about Mr. CJ Stroud. His time up in the pocket was 3.48. Now, if I am wrong out there, please just let me know. But be nice up in the comments about saying that like I was wrong. But that's just a word up on the street. So with that, if the line does not change it around, then the way he was able to read his progressions, it's actually good. But he's going to have to read the line of the scrimmage. So hopefully he doesn't get tricked at all by any of the vets, which he probably will because he is a rookie.
He probably will. He's a rook.
He's a rook. But it's going to be some.
Now, did you see any of the game? Did you see it?
Yes, I did. I was.
So I didn't see any, but I want to ask you how small did he look?
He looked like he belonged.
Or did he? It's okay. So
he looked like he belonged.
Physically, stature wise,
he looked like
did he look small?
Yeah, he looked like a twig out there, but he looked like he belonged. He looked like a twig, but he looked like he belonged. He got his. The one thing I will say, in his first action in the NFL, he got his first big hit. So I will take that. He got his first big hit already out the way.
And he got up like a G, shook it off.
He got up and just kept going. The next person, in this whole segment, you have Mr. Zach Charbonnet. I want to hear about this because I'm a big fan of Mr. Zach Charbonnet. Big fan.
You are a bigger fan than I am of Zach Charbonnet. From what I saw, he looked good. I think he had a few catches and a few runs. He ran somebody over. So I'm impressed. I do know I think he has like a mild shoulder injury.
Yeah, it's like
right?
Something with the shoulder.
Something with the shoulder.
I'll look it up as you talk.
The fact that he played, I think that's very encouraging. That he played, and he looked pretty good out there. I am a more Kenneth Walker than Zach Charbonnet, guy, but I think he looked good out there. He had 4 carries, 14 yards, and he had 2 catches for 14 yards. So I'm encouraged. So he's a hold for me now because I just want to see more. Hopefully he doesn't take over because I own some Kenneth Walker stock in another league that we're in. So hopefully he doesn't take over that starting spot, but I think it's going to be a part of a split backfield 50-50.
Yeah, 60-40. I think it's going to be a 60-40 split, but it's going to be whoever has the hot hand is going to be the 60. And then the cold is going to be the 40, but you're still going to get, 22 carries to like 17, 22-17? Like this?
Yeah.
It's nothing bad.
So we'll take that.
Yeah.
If you got Kenneth Walker as your running back 3 or Sharp as running back 3, I think you're winning.
Yeah.
Right? That means you have two good ones in front of both of them. So
yep.
Yeah, he's a hold for me right now.
Okay.
But he looked good though. He looked pretty good.
And then I think this Let me see. All right. So the next hold is Mr. Aiden OConnell.
Did you put him in there? I'll put him in there. Did you put him in there? I'll put him in there.
You put him in there. You said
Okay, I put him in
you
there.
said
Okay.
shocking. I don't know anything about Mr. Aiden OConnell, so I'm trying to figure out who Mr. Aiden OConnell is right now.
I don't know about who Mr. Aiden OConnell is. I do know he played for the Raiders. They drafted me, I think, in the 4th round. He was a 4-year college player. I'm looking up because I want to get everything.
Oh, he's a quarterback.
No. Yeah, he's a quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah. So he went 15 for 18, 141 yards and a tub. And only sacked once. He looked really good. I say really good, really good. I think he dropped him in the 4th round. Came from Purdue.
Never mind. I do know Aiden. Once you said Purdue, I knew exactly who I was talking about now.
I remember at the combine throwing 6'3", 210. So they sound like Jimmy G. Who? Okay, get hurt. We're not worried. We got someone who can come in, and they might have a sleeper. So I see he's a hold for me. Shocking. He did it in one game. Let's see how he does in preseason 2, game 2, and game 3.
Yep.
But I am encouraged. I saw that stat line. I was like, whoa, who is this guy? He did better than Trey Lance, that's for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. But once you broke it down to Mr. Aiden OConnell, okay. I understand what you said.
He's a whole shot.
Okay. So I think this was a very nice episode.
One more thing, we talked about it earlier. But Musgrave.
Oh man, we forgot about Musgrave. That is a guy who I'm sorry, everybody. We totally forgot. Please do not get on us. But Mr. Luke Musgrave, he looked real good. And that's another guy that we forgot to mention in a buy segment, just to if you can get him, if your rookie draft hasn't gone, which they probably are. Like, I know everybody's getting up in the swing of thing, getting ready for their rookie drafts, but that is one guy to also be to put on your buy list. But everybody out there, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget that this is just the podcast. The podcast comes out every Tuesday at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the podcast, if you want to look at the video version, drops on Thursday. Every Thursday up in a premiere at 11:55 every Thursday. But with that being said, I think this was a good episode. We want to thank everybody for the support. We greatly appreciate this. We greatly appreciate it. Yes, it is the first time it is. And I know y'all gonna love this out there. We are finally under an hour, 60 minutes. We did everything. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And do not forget to give us a 5-star rating up on the Apple Podcast. But also share this with other people if you think they would end up liking the actual insight. And then if you do disagree with some of the players that we said, let us know down up in the comments. And also if there's some players that you think that we should have added to the sell segment or the hold segment or even the buy segment, just going to leave us some comments down there so we can get interacting with you, because we are doing what we like to do best, is that's just entertaining you. And
that's what we're here for. It's only entertainment.
Yes. Any other last words?
That's all I have. Thank you everyone for joining. I know you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you all. Shalom.
Shalom. Peace.
Thanks for checking out another episode of Cerberus Gridiron Podcast, powered by Cerberus Fantasy Sports. Make sure you stay tuned for the next episode.